beautiful collectors and action figure fans. It's the one and only Optibottoms coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Siege Refractor Reconnaissance Team 3-pack. Now, I got my very first look at this at the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con, and I instantly knew this was going to be a must-have. While I absolutely love the regular retail release of Refractor, this 3-pack takes it a little bit further for me. I'll get into that a little bit more later on, but for the package, absolutely fantastic. One thing that I love that they did was they made this into basically like a package that you would get if you bought a real camera. You can see the side here has a gorgeous image of all three of the characters. The front section here has this kind of open window that you can kind of see on the inside, but it's done up in a lens sort of pattern. You can see that that's built into what is essentially artwork around the package of a camera. Absolutely love how they did that. The side here has a really cool image of what we're fairly used to, but a little bit different. We always get that image of the Ark taking off from Cybertron, but what we have here is basically a snapshot image of it, kind of playing into that this is a reconnaissance team, and they were there and took a picture of the Ark leaving Cybertron. Come to the back of the package, and you got that kind of look going on here as well. It says, Refractor, the Decepticon reconnaissance robot, turns the fine art of observation into the cruel craft of destruction. And you got a really cool image of that kind of picture sort of thing going here, and you see it's done in this holographic sort of thing. When as you move it around, you get all these different color effects, but you see Optimus Prime right there. This says Refractor is an evil marauder, not a working camera. Robots are not sold separately. Each Refractor package comes complete with Spectro, Viewfinder, and Spyglass figures. Unlike the regular retail version, you get all three of them here, whereas that other one, you had to buy three of them. It all worked out at the end, but you know, whatever. But then when you open this, again, I love how they did it. It's done up in this cardboard sort of package. You have the instruction sheet on the inside right here, and then much like a lot of cameras, you have an extra sort of little flap right here, which has a really cool image of Megatron in that holographic sort of foil. You got a couple more images like that where some wires and blast effects are kind of right there, but then some images kind of a Refractor right there. And then you open this up, and on the inside is the camera. All the figures are assembled in that configuration, and obviously we'll take a closer look at that later on. But one thing I also kind of wanted to show that I really like is the instruction manual is done up as a camera sort of instruction as well. You open this up and it says item checklist. Before starting reconnaissance missions, check that all of the following items have been included with your camera. And then it shows all the different pieces and then how to assemble it. And it's done up in this, I don't want to say like a negative sort of effect, but it really does look cool. And then you have shooting tips, system map, customization. We got a propaganda right here. Use a simple background. Move as close to the subject as possible without angering him. And then burning a powerful message promoting your leader and the Decepticon cause. Then you got an image of Megatron right there. And then again, you flip through here and there's other shooting tips like how to use blackmail, how to use surveillance. If you want to read those, you can pause it and take a quick look. And just flipping through, and then we come down to the system map, which shows all the different pieces. You have some tech specs right there. Next page here has the customization, which basically allows you to disassemble them and then reassemble them as individual robots. Again, all done up in like an X-ray sort of look, I guess. And then a little bit more detail on how to assemble some stuff. This actually comes with some extra components that really do further that look of a camera and nicely homage those original G1 toys a whole lot more in terms of their appearance. And then obviously you have the individual mode for them, which is what, again, the regular retail one pretty much promoted. So I love that. I love that in-story element that they kept the instruction manual. I think that's really cool. But for the packaging on this, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get these guys out here and see how cool they actually are. Alright guys, so here we have Refractor or Spectro, Spyglass, and Viewfinder open up and out of their packaging. And I'll be honest, I absolutely love this set. And I will warn you right now, I don't know how safe we're going to be because that little girl right there has been eyeballing me ever since I've started working on this video. So, it's possible she may come and join us at some point in time. But again, this is a truly spectacular set. What they did in terms of recoloring them is phenomenal. But going that extra step to include additional accessories to really bring home that original G1 toy look really is spectacular. Now, starting off first, obviously, here they are in their individual modes, and it's still a goofy ship thing, bringing in the original one. Obviously, the original one all looked the same. This is meant to replicate how it looked in the cartoon, where, as I said, this is how it's meant to look in terms of the G1 toy, but a much nicer paint job, I personally feel. Everything on here has a tremendous amount of detail, just like the original one did, and it's probably just the nostalgia for me coming through, but I really do love this look. You can see some of the differences. It just depends on which one you're looking at. Bringing in all of them so you can kind of see that. Obviously, I'll do a comparison a little bit more in a little bit, but all of them have a slightly different paint job just to really drive home that original toy look. One thing that I love is this bit right here was left unpainted. The whole section is done in this nice silver paint, and then you got the green section right here, but I love how they didn't just cover it all up like they did on this one. I like how it's a little bit more subtle right there. And then finally, here we go. The darker color of them with the red and the black really does look very nice. And then you can see that the gray weapons as well as the actual lens section have all been done in a black plastic. Some gorgeous silver paint with some red highlights right there. Again, just really doing a nice job of differentiating them. Now, like I said, they all come with extra accessories. For Spectro here, you get this little side section, which, as you can see, is the little rotation thing. It's the little trigger for the camera. Real nice paint on this as well. This can open up and become a weapon here in his actual robot mode, which is a nice additional touch, which gives more functionality to this. Obviously, it doesn't really do too much in this mode, but you know, it is what it is. Viewfinder gets these little shoulder bits right here that in camera mode acts as basically like a little view screen of sorts. Gorgeous silver paint throughout there. Nice Decepticon logo. Of course, it says refractor or reflector. I'm sure repro labels can fix that. But again, this goes in his camera mode as well as kind of enhances look for the robot mode as well, which is really nice. And then finally, we have Spyglass, which comes with the flash of the camera. It has a nice silver paint on the inside there, and then it looks like it's a clear window on the outer section, giving it a slightly flashy kind of look. You got some different holding points right there that you can use this as, you know, either a hand weapon, I guess, or it can attach to a shoulder. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different attachment points, so that's a nice additional piece. And then finally, we get a little tiny Crimzeek. I don't believe that this is one that we've gotten previously. This is an all-new mold, I feel. Now, I know we did get one with the Masterpiece Megatron, and I don't think it was the same as this. That one was a little bit bigger, I want to say. But gorgeous detail on this, coming in to take a slightly closer look at this guy. You can see he's done up in a fairly translucent yellow plastic. You got the gorgeous red paint for his eyes and his mouth. Great sculpted detail, showing off like a little lightning effect throughout the entire thing. Coming to the back, you got a little tail right there. One thing that's nice is that he does have little holes on the bottom of his feet, which allows you to peg him on to any of those effects part pieces. So let me see. Did he have really any? I don't think he really had any here. Look, you got a big giant one right here. So you can just plug that right there, and he can ride around on that. He has a couple more in robot mode and such. I mean, like there's a little tiny one right there that I guess you can do. So you can have him hang off on the side there. You got some right there, so you can plug that in. You can do that. But in terms of having him just like stand on the top, yeah, there's only really like this piece right here, which you could kind of peg that into, but I love that they included that little thing. Also, you have a little port right here that you're able to put him in, kind of display that. That's more than likely how I'm going to display this, as for me, this is going to be in camera mode. I do love my cartoons, and this is going to represent the reflector in the cartoon. Obviously, this is going to be my homage to the G1 toy. What makes this so special for me is that one of the holy grails for me was getting a vintage G1 reflector. Now, I've told this story before, but in case you've missed it, when my aunt passed away, she left me some money, and at the time, I ended up buying who's now my ex-wife, I bought her a wedding ring with it. Well, it left me some money left over, and I wanted to get something that I would always have, that no matter what would happen, I would always have that figure or that item to remember her by. And I actually bought two things. The first one was a G1 Predaking. The second being, I bought a G1 reflector. Unfortunately, I don't have it here with me at my new apartment. I still have some stuff at my old place that I haven't moved over, and the G1 collection that I have is part of that. So at some point in time, I got to get that over here. But I do have a connection to those G1 toys, and that's why I feel my nostalgia really kicks in with this. They look fantastic. What they did with this is truly exceptional. Just for me personally, it touches me a whole lot more because of that connection to that original G1 toy. Now, initially, the instructions were never included with this on how to get this guy into camera mode. It was fairly easy to figure out, and it showed pictures of the actual camera mode, but because of the instructions here, we now have a full and clear look of how to make it into the camera, and we were all right. We nailed it. There are a few additional parts like these that get added onto it, but the transformation on these are the exact same. So for the purposes of this review, I am going to go ahead and skip that transformation sequence, but if you do want any help whatsoever, you can check out my Transformers Siege playlist for Refractor, where you can get any help that you may need. But utilizing some of that good old-fashioned Optibotimus movie magic, we're going to go from this Refractor looking like this to looking like this. And this isn't all that different than what we got before. Obviously, the colors are a little bit more jarring of sorts because it's a mix match of different color bots. I mean, you got two different color blues. Well, one's pretty much a flat blue color. You got a nice metallic blue on this side, and then you have red and black on that side. Obviously, the lens here and then the base are black, but there's not a lot of uniformity to this, and that might turn some people off. The regular retail release does have a lot of that kind of uniformity going along with it. Come around to the back, this is basically what you have. Now for the comparison, here is the new guy, and here is that regular retail version. And again, like I said, you do get a lot more uniformity with this one, and that really may appeal to some people. For me, I love having the option of having both representations in terms of cartoon and toy available for my collection. And even if the colors are kind of a mix match here, I still think that it is amazing. Now, while this is all you got, you do get those extra accessories with this guy to kind of make him look a little bit more like a camera. So first with Spectro, you do have this section, which what you do for this is you come around to the top, you got the two little holes, the larger holes here you want to plug that into, give that a nice little push, and then you bring this section down and you got a little hole bit on the inside here that's going to line up with this little round section. So just bring that around, and it's a little bit tricky. Make sure you have that there, and then just gonna feed that in and give that a good little push, locking that down, and then bring this piece around, and this will lock in just like so. And that adds, obviously, well, if you get it right, I mean, you really want to make sure you get everything kind of lined up proper for it. And like I said, it feels like it's a little bit off on mine. I might not have the legs kind of positioned properly, but get that in there, wrap that around, and there we go. So that already really does nicely enhance the look and gives it more of that camera look. Again, you're going to be like pushing the button here, you're gonna wind the camera, click, 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 just like that. So obviously, this section right here, you have these little pieces on the inside. Split this apart so you can see. You got this little piece. It rotates around, and you can see you got two little kind of protruding bits right there. When you keep it in like this, it's meant for the camera mode. Just keep the two halves together like so, and then what you do is you slot it into these little bits. So bring it down and then push it back. That locks that into place. And again, coming together very nicely. Finally, you have this piece, which is going to plug right into that hole, giving him his flash. And there he is. Now you have them all cameraed up. If you do want to bring in Crimzeek, again, you have that little hole section right there that you can put him sitting on there. I kind of wish it was a little bit more on this side, because it kind of would look cool having him come out of the actual flash point. I guess that's just personal preference. You do have other holes and things that you can put them into, but that would look a little bit weird. That hole right there is what they specifically attribute to his area where he's going to stand. So you do have that. Now, again, uniform color, but this just looks so much nicer in terms of a camera, I guess. One thing I want to make sure that I point this out. This is the Masterpiece Megatron Crimzeek. You can see this is a little bit more translucent of a color and a little bit different of a shape. He's got longer legs. Well, it's not really a matter of longer legs. He's standing up more. Yeah, I mean, I like having a couple of Crimzeeks. Now, yes, you can swap these. So, if you wanted to, you can take this off. You can take this off. All of this stuff is going to have to come off anyhow for the transformation. So taking this off, setting that down. If you put this off to the back, you can put this on here. All of the ports and everything are the exact same. So you could, if you wanted to. I'm sure some of you guys were like, do this, Optibotimus. I want to see how that looks. So I'm going to do it for you. Get that in there. Give that a nice squeeze, bring this in, lock that in, and then put that section right smack there. So yeah, you absolutely could do that, and that still looks amazing. So if this is something that you wanted to do, you could totally do it. I feel like the black kind of clashes a little bit too much. If it was done in the gray color, I feel like it would work a little bit better. But hey, let's do a little. Oh, that pops apart really easily. Let's do a little bit, some extra swapping. Let me put this back together. Poof, just like that. And then let me see how this looks. I mean, obviously, you know, all the parts can mix and match. I mean, that, you know what? That kind of looks cool like that. Maybe if you took the standoff with that as well, the overall presence of this with the extra black for this, kind of works, I would say. I dig that. I really do. So you could totally do something like this if you were so inclined, and if you had both of the sets. Obviously, it's something that you can do, or maybe find somebody who doesn't want these pieces and sells them separately. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who would really want to do that. Not me, but I am going to steal MGO's line. It's a thing that you can do if you want to do it. So there's that. Keep that in there. Lock that in. So overall, really very fun in terms of the camera mode. It just has that cool look to it. But I don't know. It's personal preference, I guess. Now, getting this guy out of the way, we got a little bit more to take a look at with this, that being his individual robot modes. So again, let's go back to that Optibotimus movie magic and go from him looking like this to looking like this. And obviously, this is the basic configuration that we would have had with the regular retail version. But those extra accessories really do help, again, to create that G1 toy look. And you can see a lot more of the colors here. For Spectro, really gorgeous red and black. You can see some nice silver elements in there. Definitely some gray bits, nice silver Decepticon logo right there. I really like what they did here where they painted this black and then that now lays on the underside here, which does look really cool. The helmet looks really nice with the black section. Obviously, they all pretty much have the silver face with, let's see, yeah, are they all red eyes? Yeah, they're all red eyes, which look great. All the way around, though, very, very well done. I do just plug these into the back section. Just that's the kind of easiest way to put them, because Viewfinder's really the only one that had the centerpiece right there. So I just like hiding those. Now to complete his look, we have his little point and click thing here. So what we're going to do with this, you open this up just like so, come around here to this side. I guess you could, well, no, it specifically says this side because you put it in the hole right there and have that top section up there, and then this you just wrap around and it kind of creates a shield of sorts. Obviously then you can take one of the guns here and give that to him, and that kind of completes his look. For Spyglass, again, really very nice. Paint job wise, he might be the prettiest looking. I really like this metallic blue that they used. And then again, you got that yellow paint on that section that when you fold that around, kind of bleeds through there, gives a nice distinction to the chest, and then you got a nice Decepticon logo in the front. Gorgeous blue helmet as well. This guy looks really very nice with the very reflective paint. I think that looks cool. The rest of the arms are just done in a blue plastic for the most part, but it is different than the blue plastic on Viewfinder. You can see that it is definitely a slightly different color. Hopefully that shows up on screen. You get some extra paint details like down here. You had some silver and everything down in the lower part of Spectral's legs. You got some silver on his thighs, yellow there, a little bit of red. Overall, again, really very nice looking. Same articulation that the other ones had with the ball joint, the rotation there, hinge going out. That always does look a little bit weird. You do have the rotation. You have a double joint for the elbow. Obviously, the waist rotates, hips forward and back, in and out, rotate, they bend, and then you have huge ankle tilt on this to make Shartimus Prime happy. Joints are really very tight on these too. I'm very impressed with how those turned out. Now for him, they show this shield section going on his arm here. This is all personal choice. You can put this any which way you want. But then it does show taking this guy and plugging this in right here. They used the one in the back to plug that right there. You can also have him hold it if you really wanted to as kind of a extra hand weapon. So again, it's all personal preference. Do whatever you want to do. And actually, I think they have this hole going in there. So I guess that really doesn't matter, but kind of think it looks a little bit better with that there, but you know, whatever. And then, hey, we can take his gun. We can have him hold this as well. He's got his little riot shield on the side of him there. So there's the full completed look for Spyglass. And again, he looks really cool as well. Super armored up, obviously, and just I love the incorporation of the extra weapons. Now Viewfinder gets his little shoulder sections. These pop apart, and then this section here rotates out and around. And then much like you did in the actual camera mode where you slid these bits on there, when you rotate this out, you have two little post bits right there that now you put this right there and right there. It just frictions in, but it looks as if it does like on the original toy where it slides out and then collapses in. I love how they incorporated that. That's super, super fun. They also do have him having one of these riot shields, which this, well, no, actually, they have it on here, but it's like off to the side. So it wasn't up like that because this piece gets in the way. So you got to put it in on the side like that. But to me, that looks kind of weird. I guess I don't know why you would really want to do that, but I guess you could do that on both sides with this because you have this extra one. Because Spectral, they don't really even show where to do that. So hey, do that on both sides. Why not, right? And then you can have him hold a gun as well. And there's your completed look for the reconnaissance team known as Refractor. And again, super wicked awesome. I love the way that these guys turned out. Seriously, in terms of doing homages, this Siege line is killing it. It really is. I can't think of something better that Hasbro with Transformers has done in recent years. They're just that darn cool looking. Not even necessarily just these. I mean, they are without a doubt killing it. And I know we're winding down with the Siege line and getting ready to go to the Earthrise, whatever they're calling that. And granted, those look terrific as well. So it seems to be carrying on, and I am super happy with that. These Siege figures, including the reconnaissance team here, are absolute home runs. Now, initially, I want to say that this was like a convention exclusive, or it was supposed to be a convention exclusive, like a HasCon type of thing, but that ended up getting canceled. So I'm not exactly sure where these figures kind of fit. I got mine directly from Big Bad Toy Store. So that is, as far as I know, really the only way to get them, and that's online retailers. But Big Bad Toy Store makes it really super easy. You can pre-order these well in advance. You don't have to pay any money down for the most part. If you forget about them, they give you a warning email when they expect it in like the next 10 days or so. So you can plan for these sorts of releases. So yeah, they make it really super easy. So if you'd like to pick these guys up, I'll put a link down in the video description where you'll go to BBTS and you can check out availability on these guys, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you would do one small thing for me. It literally takes a half of a second to do, and that's just to simply hit that thumbs up button. That one small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, a huge thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this review. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch a video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. I'd also like to send a huge shout out to all of my patrons, who through their continued support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And finally, remember, grow wise, grow strong, but never grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.
You got